おかえりなさい先生。宇沢レイサ待機していました。勝負です。みんなのスーパースター宇沢レイサ登場です。ほにゃー。挑戦状は受け取ってください。この先何があってもご安心ください。先生のそばには私宇沢レイサがついておりますから。キャ
This is Reisa Shooting Star, based off the standard manufacturing DP-12, a bullpup, double-barrel, pump-action, 12-gauge shotgun. It's an all-metal gun, but I think it fits our fun, hyperactive energy. So, unlike my other videos, there's not much to talk about in terms of comparison between the real and game gun. For the most part, it's pretty accurate to the real-life counterpart with no major inaccuracies. The fact that it can only shoot one barrel at a time is also shown too. Although the final shot in the ultimate is a little big on if it's a double or single shot. Standard Manufacturing's new gun, which is basically a DP-12 with a double shot feature, the SSR, can do this though. However, the gun only came out recently after Reisa's release and after I recreated Reisa's gun. Perhaps I would do her Magical Girl variant with the SSR though. The other thing is the little weird bead sight that Reisa has on her gun. The DP-12 only comes with a normal Picatinny rail with no iron sights. Although she doesn't really have a rear iron sight either for that front sight. Well, I could have attached something like a Magpul M-Bus. It looks a little too large to match Reisa's gun. Instead, I put on this EOTech with a hollow, the wolf ears like you've seen in the shooting clips. Which I feel like is entirely something she would do too. I don't have much to say for the recreation either. All credit goes to in San Antonio, Texas, who did a wonderful job of bringing Reisa's gun to life with their Cerakote work. There weren't many references to give them, but they still did a gorgeous job. The pattern on the gun isn't randomized either. They took the effort to copy the exact pattern on Reisa's gun. It's even on the Cerakote gallery as a reference gun if you like to see what colors were used. It was really difficult finding a shop that would work on the DP-12. The disassembly and reassembly is an incredibly complex process given the nature of the gun. I had to drive out of town, but I'm glad I for this project. They told me they pride themselves on accepting jobs that other shops wouldn't. So, thanks again for dealing with the DP-12. I think you all know me by now for burning money on these recreations, so let's talk about the cost. I got this gun used for around $775 after tax including a case, which was a good deal considering that they usually go for around $1,000 to $1,200. There are two generations of DP-12s. My gun in particular is a Gen 1 as unfortunately they switched to a polymer receiver for the second generation over an aluminum one like on the Gen 1s, and it hasn't been good since. Generation 2s now have a reputation for blowing up. Second generations can be identified by having DPP as the first letters in the metal-plated serial number, while Generation 1s only have BP engraved. However, it's becoming a lot harder to find Generation 1s as they have been discontinued for some years now, but SSRs are stated to have metal receivers. Many gun shops also won't state if theirs is a Generation 1 or 2, but 99% chance if it's a new gun, it is a Generation 2, considering that the Generation 1 has been discontinued. It's a shame because the Gen 1 is built like a tank despite the gimmicks. If you'd like to learn about the DP-12 specifically, I highly recommend the Legend Hickok 45's video on it. Now, the cost of the Cerakote was, $17.50, which is 2.5 times the price of the gun. However, for the complex work it takes to make the artwork, color mix, and paint with Cerakote, it's an entirely fair price, and most shops similar to this one would probably also cost around the same. All in all, this recreation cost slightly over $2,500, which is my cheapest recreation so far.
お金持ちでお小遣いたくさんもらってるけど、楽器につぎ込むから常に金欠だよ。てれ、どこが褒め言葉に聞こえた？
Now, a lot of people hate this gun. They say that it's too unreliable and gimmicky. It's not meant to be a serious gun. It's extremely whimsical and fun, and it's by far the most fun shotgun I've shot. It excels at being a fun gun. Pump action is always a blast to cycle, and the double barrel only adds to the experience. The bolt and loading system is pretty magical too, and pretty satisfying to watch. Like I said earlier, this gun epitomizes Reisa. A little weird and funky, but extremely fun to be around. That being said, it does have some issues. The main one being that it's almost impossible to reload on the move due to the bullpup form factor. Reisa flips her gun to reload it, and that's probably the best way to do it unless you get really good at reloading while shouldered. I love bullpups, but like most bullpups, this gun has a pretty terrible trigger. There's no travel, but the wall break is incredibly hard. It is also certainly an unreliable gun. It's pretty easy to short stroke it on accident if you really don't slam the action all the way back. I've had to instruct many of my friends to do so when first shooting it. Now, I noticed this becomes a non-issue once you get used to it, and I've never really had issues other than when first owning the gun. This gun is also pretty heavy, coming in at just shy of 10 pounds unloaded. For reference, a Benelli M4 comes in around 7 to 8 pounds, and most pump actions like 870s and 590s are around 7 to 7.5 pounds. And because they are two 7-shot capacity tubes, it gets even heavier when loaded. Now, let's be honest, this is a range toy. I don't think the weight really bothers me because I'm not gonna be carrying it around. But I am a masochist that lugs around a Barrett and an MG42, so take that as you will. The weight does help with recoil though, and it's a lot more controllable when shooting high recoil rounds like Magnum buckshot or slugs. I'm pretty confident I'd be able to rapid fire this thing faster on target than an M4 with slugs, despite the M4 being semi-auto. And I've shot both with slugs before. The stock is also massive and has a large rubber pad, which eats a lot of the recoil, so it's pretty comfortable to shoot in general. As long as you don't try to take it too seriously, you will fall in love with this gun just as I have. Just be prepared for everyone calling it a KSG. Wait, before you guys click off, I will be disassembling and cleaning this gun on stream on June 5th at 8 PM Central Time on Twitch. Please join and say hi at twitch.tv/Macamact. Anyways, this episode is a little shorter just because I didn't have too much to do with the actual recreation of the gun, but I hope you guys still enjoyed it regardless. The voiceover is also a little wonky as I'm currently recording this while I'm sick. I also know this video is super late considering that this was actually my first Blue Archive recreation. I planned on doing this earlier, but finding people to help you film is super hard. The good news is that I have moved to owning my own camera setup, which is a Canon R5 Mark II with an RS5 gimbal. The gimbal has helped a lot with the B-roll and lets me do some more dynamic shots, so I also hope that you guys have also enjoyed that. There's one recreation upcoming which some of you guys already know of, but I'm low-key broke between buying guns and the camera, so it might take a while before I can do more recreations. However, I have tons of new projects planned, which I think you guys will really enjoy. Meanwhile, you can follow me on Twitter and be forced to read my dumb tweets. That being said, thank you for watching this episode. Please like and subscribe to see me doing more dumb shit.
You ready? And yeah,